don't get windier. I love doing these lessons outside. When I set up this morning, it was very nice out here. It was very calm. And I feel like now it's a little bit windier than I was expecting. It says I'm live. Let me just double check things to make sure that they're working. You know how I like to check things all the time. Well, it looks like things are working the way I would expect them to work. So, hi, I am Bob the Canadian. Welcome to this live English lesson where you get to ask questions and I try my best to answer them. I want to say welcome to all of the people who were here in the chat earlier. It's so nice to have you here. There will be a form that you can use to ask your question. Either Todd or Dave will link that form in the chat. And I will take your questions and I will try my best to answer them. So once again, I do apologize if it's a little too noisy out here. It's very windy right now. It wasn't windy an hour ago when I set up. It was very calm and peaceful out here. But since then, it has gotten just a little bit windier. But we're going to try and do questions the same way we did yesterday. So I have questions available on the screen. The first question is from Denis Welker. Hello, Bob. Do you think Justin Trudeau speaks better English or French? So, as some of you know, we live in a bilingual country. Canada is bilingual. Our two official languages are English and French. And so when you are a member of the government, the federal government, you need to speak both languages. Justin Trudeau speaks perfect French and perfect English. I think he speaks both equally well, Denis, for sure. Let me see what the next question is. Let me get that up on the screen. From Ruslan. Hi, Ruslan. Good afternoon, Teacher Bob. My best wishes. Does the water in rivers and lakes get warm enough to swim during the summer in your region? Yes, it definitely does get warm enough. We don't swim in that river, though. That river is a little bit dirty. The water is kind of muddy and dirty. But I live close to all of the Great Lakes, and you can go out to either of the Great Lakes and you can swim in them in the summer. Right now, the water is a little bit cold, but you certainly can go swimming if you want to. Let me see here. Let me get the next question. The next question is from Deekshant. Hi, Deekshant. Oscar is a perfect dog. So it's a little play on words there. He's a perfect dog, but he also has fur. Do you agree, Bob? Yes, I agree. He is the perfect or perfect dog. My question is the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series worth reading as a young adult? Have you read it and what's your review? I have not read them. Some of my children have read them and they would give them 2 thumbs up. I think they are supposed to be very funny. And I think even if you are an adult, if your level of English isn't quite high enough to read regular English novels, I would certainly step down and maybe read a book from the young adult area, such as Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Great question, Deekshant. Let's see here. So this is a tricky one for me. Wei says, good morning, Teacher Bob. What is the meaning of humility and hubris, and are they antonyms? Thank you so much and have a good weekend. So humility is when you are humble, and hubris is when you do something even though maybe you think you shouldn't do it because you just think you know how to do it. So in some ways they can be antonyms for sure. Hey folks, I'm just going to do a little audio check here. Hey, it sounds like everything's working pretty good. Let me get to the next question here. Next question is from Alan Oliveira. What's the most famous food in Canada? Or what's the most famous food in Canada? Sorry, I mispronounced a little bit there. The most famous food in Canada would probably be poutine, although I think the most popular food in Canada would be pizza. So I would say poutine is like our Canadian dish, but I think most people eat a lot of pizza. I think that is probably one of the most popular foods in Canada. Let me see here. Next question is from Valerie from the Ukraine. Hi, Bob. Glad to see you. Hi, Valerie. Have a question. What is the difference between appropriate and right or fit? Done and finished, flat and smooth service, see ya. So if something is appropriate, or it's the right thing, those would mean the same thing. So it's appropriate for me to wear a watch and a ring and a shirt when I'm outside in the winter because it's cold. It's the right thing to do as well. So they can be slightly different, but very much the same. Done and finished are the same. So I am done eating breakfast. I am finished eating breakfast. You can say both. Brent from American English says, St. Hubert's has great poutine. Yeah, there's a lot of good poutine in different places in Canada. Valerie, though, you wanted to know flat and smooth. When something's flat, it simply doesn't have any bumps, okay? So something can be flat and still be a little bit rough. Like this picnic table, I can't show you. It's flat, but it's still a little rough. But when something's smooth, it's like glass. It's very, very easy to slide your hand along it. Next question is from Lucas. Hi, Lucas from Brazil. Hi, Lucas. I'm your fan. Thank you very much. How can I increase my vocabulary quickly? Thanks, Bob. So the way I usually recommend to increase vocabulary is to read a lot. There are many ways to increase your vocabulary, but I really like reading as a way to increase your vocabulary. When you read actively, especially when you read the news and you read a book at the same time, you learn words a lot more quickly because it's related to your daily life, especially if you read the news, because you're already familiar with what's happening in the world. So I would highly recommend reading as the best way to do it. Elias Gomez has given me a super chat. Thank you, Elias. He says, hello, Professor Bob. Thanks, Elias, for that. That is awesome. Thank you very much. Let's see here. Deekshant says poutine, not Putin. Yes, so there's always a little running funny thing about poutine and how it sounds the same as someone from Russia that some of you know well. Let me get the next question here from Johnny. Next question is, hello, Teacher Bob. Is there any difference between take a ride and get a ride? So you can take a ride on the subway. You can take a ride in a car with a friend. It usually means that you're just doing it for fun, okay? So if someone I know bought a new car, they could say, hey, I'm gonna come over to your place and show you my new car. I could say, hey, could I have a ride in your new car, or could I take a ride in your new car? But to get a ride means you need the ride. So I might say, I need to get a ride to work tomorrow morning, or I need to get a ride to Toronto because I have to visit some people. So taking a ride is more for fun. Getting a ride is more for something that you do need to do, like it's a requirement. Let's see here. Next question is from Daria. Hi, Daria. Hello, Bob. Glad to see you outside in this beautiful day. It is a beautiful day, and the wind has calmed down a little bit for me, so I'm very happy about that. Glad to see you outside. My question is, what's your favorite hero from Lord of the Rings? Thank you. I like Aragorn, Strider Aragorn. He was always one of my favorite characters because he starts out as someone kind of mysterious, and then spoiler alert, you find out at the end that he's something a little more important than just a ranger. So Aragorn would be my favorite. American English with this guy, his name's Brent, by the way, says, I hope your week went well, glad you're back, and he has given me a super chat. Thank you so much, Brent, for that. That is awesome of you. Thanks for supporting the channel. Let's get to the next question. From Brahim. Hi, Brahim. By the way, I'm happy that I have the questions on the screen. I want to thank Dave, the Canadian, for building the little piece of software that lets me do that. It's very, very nice to be able to do that. I am just for a moment going to check my audio again. I'm noticing the video is a little choppy, but it seems like the audio is good. So hopefully we can keep going and things will keep working well. Brahim says, hello, Bob. How are you? I'm good. Thanks for asking. Thanks for your collaborators or my collaborations. Yes. Are there any wild animals in your neighborhood or in your area? So I did correct the question there a little bit. Are there any wild animals in your area? We might say neighborhood, but because I'm out in the country, I would more likely say area. Yes, there are raccoons, there are beavers, there are many, many wild birds, and there is an animal that keeps chewing Jen's hoses at night. So she has hoses to water things, and there's an animal that keeps like chewing the hose at night. We're not sure what's doing it. So yes, there are no bears, there are no bigger animals in my area, but there are definitely small wild animals. Flavio Passato. Hi, my question is, do you say an M&M CD or an M&M CD? Oh, you say the first one. I'm going to buy an M&M CD. I know that sounds kind of funny. I'm going to buy an M&M CD. Yes, the first one is correct for sure. Mahdi says, I look funny when I put my AirPod in my ear. Yeah, every time I do that, I think it does look a little bit funny because the wires, they're not actually AirPods. They actually have a wire, so it's not quite long enough. So I have to lean in. Denis Welker, welcome to, oh, thank you so much for becoming a member of the channel, Denis. That is very awesome of you to help support the work that I do. Let's get to the next question though. Let's see. Jade says, hi, Teacher Bob. How can we be synthetic in the use of the English language without sounding rude? I hope the question is understandable. Thank you. I think what you're saying is that when you learn a language and when you try to speak it, it sometimes sounds really formal. It sounds like it's very structured and very formal, and it's not very fluid or smooth. And I don't think it sounds rude. I think anytime you can speak English, whether you have an accent or whether you're not quite sure how to express yourself, I would just encourage you to do it, because I think that the more you speak, the better it will be for you in the long run. Let's see. Brent says, I wonder if it's a possum chewing the hose. I'm not sure, Brent. We might hook up a small camera at night with night vision to see what is doing it. So let me get to the next question. So Irina from Ukraine. Hi, Irina. Hi, Teacher Bob. Whoa, there's a nice fly flying around me. Please explain the difference between subsequent and consequent. Thank you. So when you have a bunch of things to do, you do them in order. So with each subsequent question, I will try to answer it. So I have a question on the screen, and then all the ones that come after it are the subsequent questions. I think for consequent, you might be looking at consequences, and that's like the result of doing something. So if I don't answer a question, the consequence is the person who asked the question might be annoyed with me. So hopefully I answered that correctly. Let's get to the next question. Ivan says, hello, teacher. How's it going? What does back-to-back mean? And do you know a similar word to it? Thanks in advance. Well, I answer the questions back-to-back. So that's exactly what it means. If you go and you play 3 baseball games in a row, you play them back-to-back. So you can also say one after another. So you could say, I'm going to go play a soccer game or a football game with friends, and then I'm going to play another game right after it. I'm going to play 2 games back to back. Or you could say, I'm going to play 2 games right after each other. That would work as well. Let's see. Mojing says, hi, Bob. Could you please tell me the appropriate speed that I can use for speeding up your videos and so that it will almost be the same speed as your daily speech? So I did fix some things when I read that, Modine. So, hi, Bob, could you please tell me the appropriate speed I can use when speeding up your videos so that it sounds like your normal daily speech? I would say if you increase my videos by 10 or 15%, you're probably pretty close to my normal speaking speed. I would think that's pretty close. Okay, let me see. Next question here. Yeah, Deekshanch says, it looks weird that you are not in the center. So I didn't know how to do that, Deekshanch, because if I sit over here, I'm behind the question, and I wanted the question really big over there. I wanted the question really big so people could read it. So this was the solution, was to sit over here. Next question here is from Sam. Sam says, hi, Teacher Bob. Sam from Taiwan. Hi, Sam. How is the COVID-19 going there now? Are all the stores allowed to open in Canada now? I am glad to see that you are safe during this pandemic. So in my area, we are in what's called phase 2. So the malls are open, but with limited amounts of people that can go in. Restaurants are open, but they can only have people sit 6 feet or 2 meters apart, so 50% capacity. Many restaurants have created outdoor seating areas. So it's hard to find, you can't buy picnic tables in Canada very easily right now because many restaurants are buying picnic tables to put outside. So we're in phase 2. It is summer, so there is no school anyways. School ends right around now for most people. But next September, the plan is that we will have school in some form. So that's the case right here. So slowly things are going back to normal. We had a big wave and it went down, and we're hoping we don't get another wave. We're hoping that now that we're in phase 2, that we're not going to have it. So this question comes up a lot. This is from Eliane Santos, and I don't ever answer it well, but it's what's the difference between special and especial? So I like to use specially and especially. So I'm especially excited to do this today. That means that I'm more excited than normal. So I'm especially excited to do this today. And I like to do this live stream especially for the people that like to learn English. So they're kind of similar but slightly different, and honestly I never explained it very well. That was, I think, a fairly good explanation, but do try to find a video where someone explains the difference for you, because I never do a good job on that one. Adam says, hi Bob, how long have you been teaching? So I've been teaching high school since the late 90s. I think I started in 1996 or 1997, somewhere in there, and I've been teaching full-time and part-time since then, so over 20 years for sure. Yeah, a long time. It's been certainly it's been a lot of fun, and I do enjoy it, and even though we needed to teach online this year, it was still a lot of fun to teach. I've been teaching on YouTube for a little over 3 years, so slightly different. Next question is from Ario. Ario's question is, what's the difference between maybe and perhaps? Thank you. So they both mean something that might happen. So like, maybe I'll drink some water right now. Perhaps I'll drink some water right now. In that situation, in those sentences, they meant the same thing. So it means something that might happen. You know, maybe I'll go for a walk this afternoon. Perhaps I'll go for a walk this afternoon. So you're setting up something that is conditional. Let's see here. Next question from Eagle Fly from East Timor. Hi, Eagle Fly. My question is, what's the difference? So what's the difference, a little correction there, between clause and phrase? Could you give me some examples? Thank you so much. So a sentence has a subject, a verb, and it's complete. You know, I went for a walk. That is a complete sentence. You can also call it a phrase if you want. But a phrase and a clause are very similar. In fact, they're almost the same. They're just a part of a sentence. But the phrase can play the role of both, okay? So a phrase can be a complete sentence, but a phrase can also be a clause, which is part of a sentence. So if I say something like, when I think about life, I wonder if everyone's being as nice as they can. That sentence had 2 clauses in it, okay? A beginning clause and an ending clause. Let's see here. Okay, next question is from Chico from Ukraine. Hello, what is the difference between offend and abuse? Accused and guilty? Your birthday is coming soon. Yes, so Chico, when you offend someone, you simply say something that they don't like, okay? So right now in the world, there is a lot of anger because people are very offended by the things the police are doing, okay, or saying. So when you offend someone, it means you say something or you do something that is annoying. So that was probably a bad example, because abuse is when you physically hurt someone. So if you abuse someone, it means that you have hit them or punched them, okay? So look at it this way. When you offend someone, there's no touching or hitting involved. When you abuse someone, or if you are abused, there is touching or hitting. When you are accused, it means someone says you did something. So if someone says, you stole that chocolate bar, they are accusing you. You are accused of doing it. If they have a video that shows you stealing the chocolate bar, then you will probably have to admit that you are guilty. So when you are accused, it means someone says you did something. When you are guilty, it means that there's proof that you did it and you are charged with it. My birthday, there's leaves flying around. My birthday is coming up sometime in the next couple months. I don't like to talk about my birthday. I'm turning old this year. That's how old I will be. Let's see here. Brian. Hi, Brian. Hi, Bob. I saw the word bust in a movie. I'm not sure if it's slang. What does it mean? Thank you. So when there's a bust, it means that the police are waiting to see if someone will commit a crime. And then when they catch them, they are busted. So when you bust someone, it means they catch you doing a crime. Abdul Nazir says over 500 people watching. Yeah, that's kind of a lot of people. So hi, 500 people who are watching, and hi, Abdul Nazir. It's a little overwhelming sometimes when I realize how many people are watching. But I should say, hey, if you are new here, don't forget to click that red subscribe button over there and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget, this video will have automatically generated English subtitles later today or tomorrow. If there's parts you don't understand, or if you didn't quite understand the explanation I gave for a question, do come back and watch this another day. But yes, for sure. Yeah, Brent, I'm turning old. I'm going to be old years old this year. So that's how I describe it. I'm going to be old. That's what's happening. Lida Nobre says hello from Brazil. Hello, Lida. And then Farida says, when is your birthday, Teacher Bob? My birthday is in the summer. That's all I've ever said. Some people have guessed pretty close to the actual date, but I don't ever say what day it is, and I don't ever say how old I am. I'm in my late 40s, and I'm turning old this year. Let's see here. Nazir from India. Hi, sir. I really love your vids, which is a short for video, like a slang way to say it. I love it the most whenever any one of your family members come over and talk and you talk to them. It's the best chance for us to listen to natural talks. Yes, I will probably have more people on. I had big plans to have a lot of people on my live streams. In fact, you guys know Sean from Free 99 English. He was actually going to come here in May before COVID started. And he was going to be on a live stream. And we're still working at perfecting the technology to do a live stream together in the future. So do wait for that. I think it will be a lot of fun. Let's see. I'm not sure I know the answer to this one, Reckon. Hi, Bob. Glad to see you again. Thank you. I have a question about phrases. What does it mean when we say a fool's substitute for something? Thanks in advance. So I'm not familiar with the phrase a fool's substitute. I am familiar with the phrase a fool's errand. A fool's errand is when you go off to do something and it's not going to do anything productive for you. So a fool's errand would be like going to buy toilet paper 3 months ago. That was a fool's errand because no stores had toilet paper in them. So I'm not sure, though, about a fool's substitute. Maybe someone can look it up in the chat, but I am not too familiar about that. Farida says, thank you for your answer, Teacher Bob. No problem. Quinn Jin, how long is the live broadcast? I go for about an hour, usually, and I do it Friday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So Jin Jin Liu, hi Bob. I've been very busy for the last few weeks. Yeah, me too. I have been very, very busy. Let's see here. Next question. Olga says, hi Bob. Why do you have so many advertising during your last video? So people ask questions about the ads on the videos. And one of the things that, one of the ways YouTube works is that you make money from ads. I try not to put a lot of ads on a video. Generally, my Tuesday videos have an ad at the beginning. They might have an ad towards the end if it's more than 10 minutes, and they might have an ad at the end. The front and end ads get put on by YouTube. I really don't have any control over that. But the live streams, I usually put in usually 4 ads, sometimes 5, because it's a full hour. I might do less. I've been experimenting. So, but it is one of the ways a YouTuber makes revenue. So I do like doing this. I don't want to do it completely for free. I do appreciate that members support me, but it is also nice to be able to make a little bit of money from ads. So I'll look at how many ads I put in, Olga. Usually I don't put in too many, more than 3 or 4 in a 1-hour video, but sometimes 5 or 6 depending. But sometimes YouTube sticks them in automatically too, eh? It's not always up to me. So, but if you're wondering, the ads help me. There's a lot of equipment sitting around me. There's a light and a camera and a monitor and a computer and a microphone. There's a lot of things that you need in order to do YouTube well. So, and it costs money. So I like it when I get a little bit of money from YouTube to help out. Next question is from Evgeny from Russia. Glad to see you. Do you play musical instruments? What is your favorite music? So I don't play a musical instrument. I took piano lessons for 6 months when I was a kid, and then eventually I quit. I wish I had kept doing them, but it was very, very fun, but I don't think I was serious enough. So what is my favorite music? I really like classic rock, although I must admit, lately I mostly just listen to French music. So I really like Big Flo and Ollie. They're one of my favorites. I like Vianney. I like a singer called Coeur de Pirate. She's from Quebec. She hasn't produced a lot of music lately, but I do listen to a lot of French music for sure. Oh, and Capio, he has a really cool French song called Pluseau, one of my favorite songs right now. Let's see here. Oh, this is a good one. Mario says, hello, Bob. How can I say when someone, what should I say when someone offers me food and I don't want it, but I don't want to be ungrateful? So I did a bunch of fixing there, Mario. What should I say when someone offers me food and I don't want it, but I don't want to sound ungrateful? You can just say no thank you. You can just say no thank you. If you've already eaten, you can say no thank you. That tasted amazing. I'm full. You could say no thank you. Those cookies are awesome, but I've already had one or two. But when people offer you food, you should eat a little bit of it, shouldn't you? That's the thing. So Alexei Osipov, welcome to Livestream Fun. Yes, thanks for becoming a member, Alexei. That is awesome of you. We are getting close to the time in the live stream where it does get switched to members only. I think Coeur de Pirate, I think her name's Beatrice. I think she was on The Voice in France, like as a judge. I'm not sure. Maybe Lolly knows. Let me get to the next question. It's from Layla. Hi, Teacher Bob. I'm wondering sometimes, I feel like the English in my mind is so good and fast, like a Ferrari, but when it comes to talking, it becomes like a bike. Ha ha, how? Yeah, that's, you know, the same thing happens with me sometimes with French, because in my head, I feel like I can put the words together and it's all working great and it's like a Ferrari, it's like a fast car. But then when I speak out loud, it seems cumbersome. I think you just need more practice. I think that's the simple solution, is just take the time, find as much time as you can to practice as much as you can. But yes, I think what you are feeling is very common for people who are learning a language, for sure. So the next question is from Rod. Hi Rod, VIP IDP from Brazil. What's the difference between get the upper hand and have leverage? Thanks, sir. So they're very similar. They mean that you're in a position of power over someone, or you have outperformed someone. So when you are wrestling, when you get to the point where you flip the other person on the ground and you are on top of them, you have the upper hand. In business, if you are better at something than your competitor, you have the upper hand. Leverage is a little bit different though. Leverage is similar in the sense that you kind of have power over someone, but it's because you know something, okay? So if I know that someone is lying when they sell flowers, they're saying that they grew them themselves, but they didn't, and I know they're lying, I could, and it's not a very nice thing, I have some leverage over that person. I can try to convince them not to sell their flowers when in the same place I am, because I know they're lying, so I have some leverage. So leverage usually means you know something, or you have something over on someone. Brent has the next question. Brent from the US. He's also for the US, by the way. He both supports his country and he's from his country. By the way, Brent is American English with this guy in the chat. I'm pointing this way. I don't know which side the chat's on. Maybe it's down there on your phone. But you should check out his channel from time to time. He did do a live stream. I think he did one just before me. I thought I saw that in the chat. But Brent regularly does live streams as well. Great guy. So check him out. But he says it is Father's Day in the US tomorrow. Happy Father's Day. Thanks, Brent. Is it also in Canada? Yes, tomorrow is Father's Day. It is a day when I think children buy their dad's gifts. I don't know how often that happens for me, but that is the theory, is that it's a day where children buy their dad a gift, and it's a day where dads get to relax. And technically, I should do nothing tomorrow. That should be what my day is like. But great question, Brett, for sure. Give me a second here. I'm going to, as I do in every live stream, I'm going to flip the chat for the time being, for the next 10 minutes or so, to members only. So I do want to say that thank you so much to those whose names are in green in the chat, who have a crown beside their name. Again, I do appreciate the help you give me to do this YouTube channel. As some of you know, I do have a full-time job, and I do YouTube part-time. And I do get a little bit of money from ads and a little bit of money from memberships. And what that allows me to do is buy new equipment so that I can do this live stream outside. It's a lot of fun having new equipment. But it also lets me, I'm still negotiating, but I hope to teach a little bit less next year at my school. So a full-time teacher is 100%. I hope to go down to about 90% of full-time at my full-time job. So I have a little more time to do YouTube. So members are the people who help me do that. So thank you very much. By the way, I said you could ask questions and I forgot to answer them. Let me go to Madi. Happy Father's Day. Thank you very much, Madi. That is great. Thank you. My bag was stolen. My bag got stolen. Same meaning. Merci, Bob le Canadien. So you notice I changed it a bit there, Lolly. My bag was stolen. My bag got stolen. Okay. Both of those are correct and mean the same thing. When I say my bag got stolen, I think it's technically not proper English, but we say that all the time. Like, my car got stolen. My bag got stolen. Madi, oh yes. Body is saying Happy Father's Day, Bob the Canadian. Elias says today is Canada's first day of summer. Yes, maybe. I didn't check the calendar, Elias, but it should be sometime around now. Usually June 20, 21, 22, somewhere in there is the first day of summer. Nata Mitki has become a member. Thank you, Nata, for joining the channel. Monica Morez gives me 2 thumbs up and a smiley. Thank you very much. Kim using the emojis. Awesome. Sam, hi, Teacher Bob. Oscar is so cute. I am wondering what breed he is, and how do you say if a dog doesn't have a specific breed? So he's a mixed breed dog. Some people would say mongrel, but we usually just say mixed breed. He is part Labrador, part Whippet, and part German Shepherd, I think. I would have to ask Jen, though. Yes. Julia Olise, hello, teacher. I wonder if you have hedgehogs in your yard. We might. It's not a very common animal, and we're trying to figure out what's eating the hoses. And when we do a search on Google, it says muskrats, hedgehogs, possums, rats. I hope it's not rats, but we will check. Madi, what do you usually do? What do you do usually on Father's Day? Any special things for that day? No, I will probably sleep in. Maybe my kids will make me breakfast. I'll have to wait and see if that happens. But mostly I will just read and lay around on the couch all day. I will just take a day to relax. Brent says, even English teachers have typos. Absolutely, yes. It's funny how often I make mistakes in the chat, and then I'm always worried because I don't want to mistakenly type something wrong. And Brent as well is admitting that even English teachers. Oh, sorry, Brent. I left that on the screen the whole time. We'll do that. Let's see. Lolly says, merci, Bob. Elias says, in Brazil, it is the first day of winter. Yeah, you guys in the southern hemisphere. It's flipped, isn't it? Rod, what is the funniest memory out of these 3 years on YouTube? The funniest memory for me is there was a time where I was filming the video on streets and roads, and then I went to talk about the ditch on the side of the road. You have the ditch where there's water. And I didn't get it on video, but I stepped in like a huge puddle of water, and I got water almost all the way up to my knee. That was the funniest thing that happened. So if you notice, you don't really notice it in that video because I cut that part out. I wasn't pointing down with the camera when it happened, but I almost fell in the ditch. So let's see here. Denise Welker, Bob, which station is currently in Canada? I'm not sure what you mean by station. Which station is currently in Canada? That's a tricky one, Denny. You'll have to let me know what you mean by station. Whippet, fast dogs, yes. Elias Gomez, is it correct to say when people are on the beach, they soak up the sun? Yes. People often go to the beach to catch some rays or to soak up the sun. I think that's a lyric in a song, Soak Up the Sun. Can't think of who sings it though. Welcome to becoming a member, person whose name I can't pronounce because I can't read that alphabet. I am very sorry, and my translator is not here right now, so I will ask Deechanch later what your name is. Julia, thanks for answering, no problem. Annette Monzi from Quebec. Hi, Teacher Bob. Is it frequent to use RE as in French to speak about again? For example, to re-begin or to begin again. It depends. You can begin again. You can't re-begin. You can reread a book. You can revisit a place that you visited before. I don't actually know the rules. You can reheat something if you want to eat it the next day and it was in the fridge. So yeah, that's a tricky one. But you can't say re-begin. You would say start again or begin again for sure. Daniel, happy Father's Day, Bob. How many people are participating in the drawing of classes with you? So there are almost 400 people entered. Thank you for mentioning that, Daniel. Next week, Friday, I will be doing the draw. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I will be offering free 1-hour classes for a select few people who win the giveaway. I will be doing the draw next week Friday. But yeah, there's, I think, almost 400 or just over 400 people. I have to check, Daniel. Monica, hello, teacher. I like your videos. Thanks for the job you do. I'm from Brazil, and I learn many things with your videos. So I made a few corrections there, Monica, but awesome. That is awesome. I'm glad that you are learning a lot. Brent says, I wonder which season in Canada instead of station. Oh, could be. So it is summer. We've just decided it's summer. I'm not sure if it's exactly the first day of summer, but it definitely feels like summer here. It's going to be 32 degrees Celsius today. So let's see here. Hello, thanks for great videos. What to teach kids or have you got? What to teach kids? Do you have or have you got? So I definitely have kids. I have 5 kids. That's for sure. And what to teach kids. If you're asking about what English to teach kids, I would just get them started on kids books, any English kids books that you can find. Nata, hello from Russia. Big thanks for your lessons. You're welcome. I'm crazy about dancing. And do you have any national or local dance in Canada or your region? So there is no specific dance in my area, although our First Nations people, I'm very eager to talk about First Nations people all the time because I think we need to honor them. First Nations people are the people who were here before Europeans and other immigrants came to Canada. And the First Nations people have many, many sacred dances. So if you do a search for the dances of the First Nations peoples of Canada, you would find lots of information on that. Let's see, Florin, yes indeed. You insisted about the ditch in the video now, so now we know. Yeah, I think I kind of trip a little bit in that video, but you don't see the real fun. Alina, such a nice bench in the background overlooking the river. Yes, and we have a small fire pit there. So sometimes we will have a small fire at night and we will roast hot dogs. Lots of fun. Excuse me. Sorry, that's not very nice to do. I should mute the microphone when I do that. Let's see here. Annette says, merci, Bob. Thank you very much. Rod says, what was the most frightening memory on YouTube so far, sir? So there's more than one. There are many times I almost drop my camera. I only have one camera and it's not super expensive, but I don't want to drop it by accident. So in the video where I go to all the different stores, when I was putting the camera on my tripod, at the souvenir store at the end, it almost fell on the ground. And then my camera almost fell over once in the wind on the video. I think it was on the farm video, the second one. but I caught it before it fell. So I'm always afraid I'm always afraid that I'm going to break something. Let's see here. Is it a common phrase, those two things go hand in hand? Yes, Elias, very much. Yeah, those two things go hand in hand. Like, let's see, making videos and putting making videos and putting videos on YouTube go hand in hand. So those two things go hand in hand. We would definitely say that. DK, thank you for becoming a member. Awesome. Welcome to the membership club of my channel. And thanks for the support. Madi says, welcome to new members. Bob the Canadian is welcoming to you. Yes, welcome to all new members. Denis says, wait, oh, it disappeared. Angelica says, hello, Bob. I'm so happy to meet you every Saturday. Greetings from Stuttgart, Germany. Well, thank you, Angelica. It is nice to see you here as well. Hey, thanks for the questions. I'm going to take a few more questions from everyone. And I will switch the chat back in just a moment. If members have one or two more questions, I will answer them, and then we will go to chat for all viewers in a moment. Abel, what is that chair doing behind you? In the other lives, it was not there. Have a great day, Bob. So there's a bench back there because we sometimes sit there at night and look at the river, but we also have a small fire pit in front of the bench. You can kind of see it. Let me try and point to it. I'm really bad at pointing. Oh, I should turn this off. So there's this is our fire pit. This is our bench. So sometimes we have a small fire and we will roast marshmallows or we will just sit around the fire for a nice evening with the kids. Let's see here. Elias, could you give us an example using the phrase, it sounds like it's on its last legs? Yeah. So my truck over there, it's on its last legs. If you start it up, it would sound like it's on its last legs. If I was to describe it to you, you could say to me, wow, it sounds like it's on its last legs, which means it's about to break down. At some point, that truck's just not going to work anymore. Let's see here. Julius has joined the club. Elias says, sorry, I'm asking a lot of questions, but it's the opportunity I have. Yeah, questions are great, though. I love questions. Lucas is a new member. Thank you so much, Lucas Bombi Mazuki, for joining. I am going to now switch members chat off. Give me a moment here. I will set the chat back to everybody can chat. Let me make sure that that worked. Yes, it did. And I will find the next question. So let me see here. So Marcelo Vinicius. Hi, Marcelo. Hi, Bob. Brazil in the air. Yeah, there's usually a lot of folks from Brazil on my live stream. So welcome. I've got a question. How are you dealing with coronavirus in Canada? So we're in phase 2. So that means a few things are open now. So we were in a phase where only grocery stores and drugstores and pharmacies were open, but we are now in phase 2. So restaurants can have 50% capacity, so half the normal amount of people. Places of worship can have, I think, 30% of their normal people come in. So churches and mosques and synagogues are allowed to have 30% of the normal amount of people come in. Schools are closed because it's summer anyways. But yeah, we're slowly opening up, slowly getting to the point where it might be like normal. I'm just worried that we're going to get to the point where there's a second wave and then everything will get closed again. So I really hope, though, that school in some form happens in September. Natalia says, I like music. Can you recommend to me Canadian folk songs for listening? Perhaps one or two of your favorite childhood songs or songs you studied at school or sing at home. So if I was to go with, so there's a couple of old Canadian singers that my parents used to listen to. One is Anne Murray, sings a lot of folk songs. I'm drawing a blank here, but so I can't think of who sings Sundown, but I should know this. If someone could look up who the Canadian singer who sings the song Sundown, I should know and I can't remember, but that is some great old Canadian music that you could listen to practice. Let's see here. Next question is from Sharif Hatu. Hi, Sharif. Is there any difference? So a little correction there. Is there any difference between dusk and twilight? Thanks, teacher. So we have daytime and we have nighttime, and as the sun goes down, we have dusk. And then twilight, I'm going to have to look this up for a sec because I don't want to get it wrong. You guys can listen to the sound. There's like motorcycles in the background right now. Yeah. So it says the official definition is that twilight is very similar to dawn and happens in the morning. And that dusk is what we would use to describe the evening when we transition from day to night. But I have heard the word twilight used at night before, like morning twilight and evening twilight. So it's that time of day when it's perfect to take photos. That's what I know. Next question is from Lily Babu. Hi, Bob. Could you please tell me when I use home and house? So here's a tricky one. In English, we use the word house and the word home interchangeably a lot. So in my home, there are 7 of us. In my house, there are 7 of us. But you can also use home to talk about an apartment. So house is really the physical building, and an apartment or flat is the place that you live in if you don't have a house. So home can apply to either. So if you live in an apartment or flat, you would still call it your home. And if you live in a house, you could call it your home. But it does get tricky because I think yesterday I mentioned in my live lesson that in English we would say, oh, did you hear Joe just bought a new home? So we should use the word house, but we sometimes use the word home. I like to read the chat a little bit more than I normally do. Vashali says, can you recommend any web series to improve English? If you have Netflix in your country, get Netflix. That's what I would say. And then Madi, I like listening to the nature sounds. Well, I'm glad you like it, Madi. There's at least 5 or 6 birds that are competing with me for the audio time. Let's see here. Next question is from Martin. Martin says, hi, Bob. Have you ever slept outside in a tent? Yes, I am not someone who likes camping. I do not go camping very often. But I have many times when I was younger slept outside in a tent. In fact, sometimes my kids will put up a tent here. We haven't done this for a number of years, but probably about 10 years ago, me and a couple of the kids slept outside in a tent. It wasn't a lot of fun though. It was kind of hot and there were a lot of mosquitoes. So I am not a camper. Some families in Canada camp a lot. Our family doesn't go camping very often. Let's see here. Tatev from Armenia. Hi, Teacher Bob. I know you are fine. Me too. Thank you. You're welcome. What is the most famous statue or church in your country? That's a challenging one. I know if you go outside of Quebec City, there is a very old Roman Catholic church outside of Quebec City because that is one of the first places where people settled in Canada. But in terms of a famous statue, I can't think of one right now. I can't think of a famous statue in Canada. We might just have less statues. We're a fairly young country, and it's possible that we just don't have a lot of statues. Let's see here. Hi, Bob. This is Alex from Odessa asking, hi, Bob, what does bare your fangs mean? I like your videos. So we would say, show your teeth or bare your teeth or bare your fangs. It just means that you're getting aggressive in an argument, or it doesn't mean you actually go like a dog. That looked weird. But when you do that, it means that you aren't backing down. You're actually being somewhat aggressive, either in an argument or something else. Next question is from Gustavo. Hi, Bob. The difference between dope, like it's dope, and lit. What's the better way to use them? I hope you're well. So first of all, these are both slang expressions. They aren't super common among people my age, but if you were younger, you would probably say that something that you like is lit, although I do feel like the term is starting to be used less. When you say it's dope, it means the same thing. I don't hear this as much anymore. I don't hear people say, wow, that car is dope, man. I think it's just less common. It's kind of fallen out of usage a little bit. Let's see here. Steve. Hi, Steve. Hi, Bob. What do you call individual sections at a farmer's market? So a little corrections there. A stall, a stand. For example, I just bought some flowers from that stand. Thank you. You could call it, you could use both, okay? So we have a stand at the farmer's market. You could also say we have a stall at the farmer's market, and that's where we sell our flowers. So you can use both words interchangeably. We usually call it our stand, I think, or booth. We actually call it a booth as well. So we have a booth at the farmer's market. So all three work. And I think all three are fairly common for sure. Let's see here. Irem from Turkey. Hi Bob, how are you? I am learning English and I want to create my live stream videos like you to improve my English. Do you have any suggestions for me? Thank you. Well, my biggest suggestion would be start with just a good phone. If you have a good phone and you have a YouTube account, you can do a live stream directly from your phone. So you don't need anything else. You don't need any special equipment. You can simply just use your phone and things work perfectly. If that works, then maybe you want to buy better equipment. But I would certainly use your phone, invite your friends, and do your live stream. Hey, I just want to ask Todd and Dave if they can tell me if the video looks good, because I feel like the video is a little bit choppy today. But just let me know in the chat, either Todd or Dave, what you're seeing there. I'm not sure if I set something up differently today, but I'm just kind of curious. Let's get to the next question. Here's a great question. Mojin, hello, why don't you, Bob, make another third channel where you teach people only adjectives like slippery or fussy each day as you do in the second channel? I think folks here would love it. If I had more time, I think I would do something like that. I think that might be fun, but I don't have enough time right now, Mojin. I'm a pretty busy person. So I'm going to write that idea down because I think it's a great idea, but I will not be doing that anytime soon. Maybe someone else who teaches English on YouTube has time for that. Okay, Dave says the video doesn't seem choppy to me. Okay, maybe it's just me seeing that. So by the way, this would be a great time for you all in the chat to thank Dave, the Canadian, for building the software that I'm using to put the questions on the screen. Thanks again, Dave. But if you want to say thank you, Dave, in the chat right now, I think he would like that. Give him a thumbs up or give him a smiley face or whatever you want to do. Let's see here. Next question from Ivan from Ukraine. Hi, Bob. Sup. So sup is short for what's up or what is up. So sup. Sometimes people say it so fast, it looks like that's what they're saying. Can you explain the phrase up to par and give an instance of it? Have a nice day. So if the video was choppy, I would say it's not up to par. So I have a certain expectation. I have an expectation that the video will work really well. And if it doesn't, it's not up to par. If I go to a restaurant and the food doesn't taste good, it's below my expectations. And I would say it's not up to par. So whenever something isn't as good as you were hoping for it to be, you would say it's not up to par. Yes, I see people saying thank you to Dave. Awesome. That is very nice of you. I'm clicking the wrong things. Next question is from Katerina from Ukraine. Hello, Teacher Bob, with my cat. I like it when people put emojis in the questions. It's a lot of fun. Richard, give our regards to you. Oh, with my cat, Richard. And we give our regards to you and your family. Well, thank you, Katerina. Would you tell us some popular names of dogs and cats in your region? So most dogs, like Rex, is a very popular dog name. I'm drawing a I'm drawing a blank here right now. I'm having trouble thinking of it. Cat names, though, we have a cat named Tigger because Tigger is an animal in the Winnie the Pooh stories. So we have people name their cats things like Snowy if it's a very, very white cat, or Snowball. Another dog name. Maybe some of you can give me some ideas. Usually I come up with ideas really quickly, but the only dog name I can think of is Rex. Maybe that's the only one I'm going to come up with. So sorry about that. Usually I come up with ideas quickly, but that one has me stumped. So next question. It's from Aaron from Italy. Hi Bob, have you ever visited a European country? Well, that's a funny question because I was at the airport once in Paris, and that's the only European country I have visited. And I was only there for about a few hours. I can't even remember. So did I visit the country? Not really. Do I want to visit a lot of countries in Europe someday? Yes, very much so. But right now, no, I have not visited any European countries except for a little stay at the airport in France. Let's see here. Jonas has the next question. Hooray, Bob. Tell us what's the best way to improve and to learn two languages like English and French, both at the same time. Is it possible? So people have asked me this before, and I usually answer by saying, there's no way I could learn two languages at the same time besides English. Okay, I know there are people in the world who grow up speaking 2 or 3 languages, and they have no problem learning a 3rd or 4th or 5th language, and I think that's great. But for me, my brain doesn't work that way. So I think it's hard for me to give advice on how to learn 2 languages at the same time, because it would be hard for me to do. But there are people that do it. There are people who are amazing at learning languages and do it well. So Vishali Kambli says, how to wish a friend, or let me just rephrase the question. The question, a good way to ask the question would be, what do I say to a friend who's celebrating their 60th birthday? Okay, so what do I say to a friend who's celebrating their 60th birthday? The reason I'm laughing is because I'm not turning 60 this summer. I'm not that old. But you're talking about a different friend. You would just say happy 60th birthday, or you would just say happy birthday. You might not even mention the date. But if you do, the age. But if you are mentioning the age, you could say, it's so awesome that you're 60. Happy 60th birthday. I hope you have a great day, and I hope you have a great year ahead of you, and I wish you many more. Usually when we wish someone many more, it's usually an older person because we want them to live for a very long time. Let's see here. Deekshanch gives a tip for learning 2 languages at once. Now, Deekshanch studies a variety of languages. He's actually quite an expert in terms of, as a linguist. He has a blog, by the way. Should I say that, Deekshanch? Maybe you don't want people to know. Anyways, Deekshanch says, choose 2 very different languages so you don't mix them up. That's a great suggestion if you're learning 2 different languages. That way, in your brain, it will seem quite separate. Next question here is from Valentine. Hi, Bob. Do you have a video, or can you tell us about how to get rid of an accent? Whenever I talk to people, they immediately notice my strong Russian accent. So a couple things about accents. First of all, it's going to be hard to get rid of a Russian accent completely, or any accent for that matter, depending on how old you are. So what I would say is your goal is to soften your accent a bit. But don't be embarrassed by your accent. Make sure you learn how to pronounce things as clearly as possible. And if that means that there is going to be some residual Russian sounds when you speak English, I wouldn't worry about it. I honestly think we need to get used to a world where when people speak different languages, that there is beauty in the fact that they have a bit of an accent. So again, there's a difference between pronunciation and an accent. And I would learn to pronounce things as correctly as possible, but don't be too stressed about your accent. When you say strong accent, though, you might be saying that it's hard for people to understand you. So I would practice as much as you can to soften the accent. Now, there are YouTubers that will help you learn to reduce your accent. If you search for accent reduction in English, there will probably be some. I don't spend a lot of time on that, but certainly try to mimic English speakers as much as possible. And then don't be too stressed about it. Accents are cool. I really believe that. Let's see here. Next question is from Javier, the Venezuelan. Hi, Teacher Bob. Hi, Javier. Thanks for the lesson. I would like to ask you if you used to go bike camping, and if it is possible to know some vocabulary about this topic. Thanks. So I have not been an avid biker, and I'm not an avid camper. So when you use the word avid, it means you don't do it a lot, and it's not something you enjoy doing. So I don't have a lot of advice for you on that one, but certainly there are people who bike and they camp. I actually have a friend who bikes a lot, and he does bring a small tent with him so that he can camp on the side of the road or in a farmer's field. But I am probably not the right person to ask. I am certainly not an expert on camping or biking. Sorry about that, Javier. Let's see here. Next question is from Rosh Rovshan. Hi, Teacher Bob. Please tell us how you pronounce these similar words correctly. I rearranged some things there so it sounded better. Pallet, pallet, and palette. I don't recognize the third word there, but the first two would be pallet and palette. We would pronounce them the same. And then let me look up your last one there just to make sure. I don't know all the English words in the world. Yeah, I think it's just a different spelling for palette, the first one that you have there. So I'm not going to worry too much about it. Next question from Jack. Can you go to Vietnam? Someday I would like to visit that part of the world as well. I would like to visit New Zealand, Australia, Vietnam, China. I would like to visit Japan. I would like to visit South Korea, but we'll see. I don't think that's happening anytime soon. Let's see here. Next question is from Yuri from Russia. Hi, Bob. I love classic rock too. Let's depend. Beatles, Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Queen. And you? So many times to relax at night, I will go on YouTube and I will watch older bands from the 70s play live in concert. It's one of my favorite things to do. So I do like Deep Purple. I do like Led Zeppelin. I think Immigrant Song is one of my favorite songs from Led Zeppelin. And I do like Pink Floyd and Queen. If I was to choose, I would say Led Zeppelin first, then Pink Floyd, then Queen, then Deep Purple, then the Beatles. That's how I would go if I was to rank those according to what I like the best. Whenever I talk about visiting parts of the world, I always leave someone out and I feel bad. So yes, I would love to visit the Middle East, and I would love to visit India, and I would love to visit every country in the world. I would love to visit Russia and Germany and Italy, and I would love to go to Brazil and a lot of different places in South America. So sorry if I don't say your country when I talk about the places in the world I would like to visit. I would love to visit all of them. Hey folks, that is the end of this live lesson. It has been 1 hour. Thank you so much for being here. Remember, if you are not a subscriber, click the subscribe button. Remember, this video will have English subtitles later today or tomorrow. So if there was a part you didn't understand, come back and watch it with the subtitles on. Thanks again to all of the people who are members of my channel and help support me. And I just think, I think this went good. You're not seeing what I'm seeing though. I literally carried my whole computer outside because I'm waiting for a new laptop to be able to do the live stream outside. So I have my computer and my desktop and my computer and my monitor, and I have everything outside that I normally have in the house around my picnic table. So now I have to put it all away. Anyways, thank you so much for being here. I'll sit in the middle for a little bit. There we go. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned a lot. Thanks to Dave and thanks to Todd for moderating the chat. Thanks to everybody who is a regular here. So anyways, I'm going to click the stop